and have interaction and sharing ideas and suggestions for the next future. And then we will have a third part about the conclusion, of course, where we will bring some testimonies and also some results and impacts of the implementation of virtual mobility that we have done during this last year. So this workshop is realized within the framework of an Erasmus Key A2 project. The project is called the Vimoin VET, Virtual Mobility in the VET System. It's a project of exchange of best practices coordinated by Scuola Centrale Formazione. And I want to thank the partners of this project, which are today, this morning, together with us. So I would like to thank ANFA, the National Association for the Training in the Automotive Sector in France, then Roskilde Handelsskole in Denmark, the Association Hetel in the Basque Country in Spain, and the Masinska Scuola of Pančevo in Serbia. So thank you to the partner of the project Vimoin VET, because they gave us a very strong encouragement and they supported us in the realization of this workshop. This workshop today had to be a transnational meeting in Spain, but as we cannot travel for the moment, we decided to move it in an online workshop and open to many partners. This is a chance to speak about the virtual mobility that is one of the most sensitive topic maybe of the last year. As you maybe already know, mobility, in particular way, the virtual mobility was perceived in a previous phase like a solution because of the pandemic, a solution to do an alternative to do international cooperation with learners and with the staff as well. But now we already know, and we know in particular way from March 2021, as the Erasmus Plus new program was launched, that the virtual and the blended mode will be the added value to the mobility, to the future mobility projects. So now we have to prepare ourselves to face the next future on how to integrate the virtual part and blended models in our future mobility projects. So this is a way, and this workshop is a way to see some practical examples from which we can take in some way inspiration. But before moving to the practices, first I would give the floor to Lidia Ruffa. Lidia Ruffa is a colleague of mine. She works as international coordinator in Scuola Centrale Formazione. She's engaged in virtual mobility as well and in mobility projects. She will introduce the workshop this morning. She gives us the general policy framework where the virtual mobility can be implemented, and she will also show us the journey, so the pathway that Scuola Centrale has done during this last year regarding the virtual mobility experimentation. So thank you, Lidia, for your first introduction. I give you the floor.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, Lidia.
Okay. Can you see also the presentation, right? Okay.
Yes, we see it.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. And today, as Francesca said, I will retrace some of the most important stages that marked the work done so far by Scuola Centrale Formazione in the field of virtual and blended mobility. Everything, as you know, started last year with when the pandemic came and confronted us with an unexpected stop of all the mobility activities. So we immediately thought on what to do to give to our learners another opportunity to have international experiences at the same time, even if physical mobility was not allowed. So we thought about virtual mobility, but all around Europe, the experiences were not so many. So we thought that a Action 2 project to share good practices in this field with the European partners that were working on it could be a good idea to start thinking about virtual mobility. And in the meantime, after a few months, the European Commission starting promoting virtual mobility activities through the national agency, and over the time it continues promoting virtual activities and then blended mobilities, arriving to the new Erasmus Plus program, where virtual and blended mobility are comprehended and are the added value of the mobility activities. So why blended mobility? Because blended mobility has a great potential. The strengths of blended mobility are for sure inclusion, sustainability, both from the economical point of view and from the environmental point of view, but also it boosts, promotes digitalization and internationalization at home for the organization. So it answers perfectly to the Erasmus Plus standard quality standards, and it is a very important tool to improve internationalization strategy for the organization. Here you can see a little timeline that reports the steps done by Scuola Centrale Formazione since last year, when we started working on the designing of the Action 2 Erasmus Plus project, Vimoin. That is the same project that is hosting us today for this event. And in the meantime, we continue researching and analyzing the different existing virtual and blended mobility experiences at international level. So it was the time when we knew the virtual exchange program that is part of the Erasmus Plus program, and that is aimed at higher education students. But the fact that through the virtual activities proposed by this kind of program, it was possible to engage in depth discussion on intercultural topics. It seemed very interesting to us, so we went in depth into this program, and we tried to adapt it to the VET system. And thanks to this adaptation, we elaborated the two virtual mobility models that we then implemented starting by December 2020. So as you can see from this timeline, in November we organized also virtual mobility for staff, transnational virtual exchange. The implementation started in December, as I said before, and in February we organized also virtual transnational internships in the graphic sector. Why we took inspiration by the virtual exchange? Because the pillars of this program were very interesting and could be very adaptable to the VET system, to our learners' needs. So we thought that the peer learning, so the exchange among peers, could be interesting to have learners at the center of the virtual mobility activities, and then to have also a transnational dimension, because we have students coming from different countries and different cultural contexts, and where they can have a learning space to have learning dialogues on topics of common interest, and everything is supported by the technology, so the digitalization, and by the facilitation that is a very strong point at the base of the virtual exchange program, but also at the base of the virtual mobility models that we elaborated. So the virtual exchange in the VET context implements a sustainable solution to do virtual mobility with learners, and it is a model adaptable for blended mobility as well, and foresees a different and motivating way to learn different and foreign languages, and enables the acquisition of intercultural competencies through a methodology where learners are at the centers, as I was saying before. The two virtual exchange models that we elaborated are this one, the first one, the green one, is a professionalizing pathway aimed at the acquisition of professional and technical skills beside the transversal skills. And then we have the intercultural pathway where it is possible to acquire transversal skills, but also linguistic and digital skills. The elements at the base that characterize these two models are common elements, and you can see as follows. There are virtual exchanges of 4-8 weeks, weekly and preparatory tasks. Then we have weekly online sessions where learners meet and discuss about the common topics with the use of vehicular language. English usually is the language much more used, and then they can work in little subgroups to work on specific and collaborative tasks. Then this pathway foresees the creation of digital products and intercultural and technical topics. Then we have the facilitation of the teachers. It is not a lesson because the facilitation of the teachers foresees the presence of the teachers that are not teachers in the moment, but are coach. They are there to motivate the students, to support them, to animate the online sessions, and to design also the activities that have to be done during the virtual mobility pathway. These models are characterized also by an inclusive approach because we decided to involve the whole class group. So where we have a virtual learning space where the students are at the center, where the students can learn a foreign language and in a reality context. And then these models are for sure transversal because they can be adapted to the higher education students, but also to youth and to the learners. And then these models are flexible in terms of typology, because we talked about two kind of models, of different models, the professionalizing one and the intercultural one, and then the professionalizing one can be adapted also to different vocational sectors, and then in terms in geographical terms, because every country can be involved. So what's next? For the future, we decided to enhance this experience done in the virtual mobility, trying to implement blended mobility activities and maybe to work on the virtual activity as a preparatory activity for the physical mobility, and then we will see how to implement it in the next year future, as soon as we will start again with physical mobility. So I thank you for the attention. Later, Francesca will give you some more info about the results we got from the implementation of these two models. And I give back the floor to Francesca. Thank you.
Thank you, Lydia, for this first introduction to the workshop. So you have seen the journey implemented by Scuola Centrale Formazione together with some of the vocational training center of the network. So thank you, Lydia. I want to say that so for the participants who would like to do questions, you can use the chat box for possible questions during the whole workshop. Then we will answer to all questions that you write, that you put in the chat box. We will send to you a document with all questions and all answers per email, and we will publish all the answers also in the website of Scuola Centrale Formazione. We have not foreseen a space for the question because the program is very tight, and we wanted to give space to the best practices and to the interaction with all participants. So we didn't want to take much more time for the questioning, but actually we will have the possibility to answer to the possible questions that you put in the chat box. So thank you again, Lydia. I think we can move now. We can move to the topic. We can move to concrete examples. And I would like to introduce the colleagues Ingrid De Bortoli and Valentina Sartor from Fondazione Opera Montegrappa in Fonte, a vocational training center associated to Scuola Centrale Formazione. Ingrid and Valentina are teachers, and they implemented an interesting experience using the virtual exchange model in the automotive sector. I would invite Ingrid and Valentina to do their presentation of their experience, and then I would like to invite, at the end of the presentation, Andrea Mangano, the director of Fondazione Opera Montegrappa, to give us a general comment of these experiences. So first, I give the floor to Ingrid and Valentina. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Francesca. Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank Scuola Centrale for this opportunity and the invitation. And as you said before, I'm an English teacher of a vocational school in the northeast of Italy. It's among 1 hour in the north of Venice. And we have been working for many years, and we have a different kind of sectors. We offer sales and marketing, tourism, auto body repairing, electrical plumbing, and among all, the automotive sector is the leading sector for us. And of course, this is the main reason why we took part of this kind of professional mobility, virtual mobility. And I have to say that we have been participating, of course, to other transnational mobility before, and it was great experiences. But when Francesca and Scuola Centrale asked us to participate to a virtual mobility, it was a new event for us, a real new opportunity. We were curious about it, and actually we didn't exactly know what it would have been like. We were a little bit puzzled, and maybe we were expecting some differences, of course. But we took it as a chance, as an opportunity. So after the invitation, we first met together, and then of course we were collaborate with another partner, which has been an important partner in the past for us. It's CFI Orly in France. And we were very glad to work with them in a new way. So, as I said, it was a professional mobility connected to the automotive sector, and we decided to deepen two aspects, standards in automotive workshops, and safety, electrical safety risks, and preventing, of course, injuries, and also waste disposal and how to differentiate industrial wastes. I have to say that after the conclusion of the mobility, we are really, really glad to have participated. And we collaborate very, very well, and it was a surprise for us. So we have to thank, because students were motivated and teachers as well were motivated. So I'm now going to present how was the project, how we managed the project first, and then of course my colleague Valentina Sartori is going to focus on the result and the evidence based on surveys we asked the students to fill in. So I'm going to share my screen now, so you can see our presentation. Can you see it?
Nope.
Not yet.
Not yet. Let's see. Can you see now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So the pathway was a professional pathway on automotive virtual standards, and the project descriptions, as you can see, involve two schools, our school, Fondazione Opera Montegrappa, and CFI Orly, which is from France, and participants were 19 students selected, and also 5 teachers, 2 technical teachers and 3 language teachers. The English language was the main communicating language. It was a project of about 8 weeks, and the main aims we wanted to reach were technical, linguistic, and of course soft skills. We also expected some outcomes focused on automotive working standards and best practices on electrical safety and waste disposal. How was the project managed? We first follow a plenary session supervised by Scuola Centrale Formazione. We shared some emails, official emails, and of course we had an official WhatsApp group. And then later on we had many online meetings among teachers, French and Italian teachers. We organized and scheduled tasks and online sessions. We also shared emails, and we created a WhatsApp teachers group to speak directly and to solve problems directly. And of course, we decided what kind of a technological application we wanted to use. First of all, we had the main platform we had was a classroom, Google Classroom. It was the main communicating system, and then of course we had some other applications. They were very interactive ones, such as a Mentimeter to have some kind of a surveys and questionnaires during the online session. We also of course use Meet on the online sessions, and Genially or Movie Maker to have some videos and create videos. And of course DigiPad, which was a very interesting application introduced to our French partners. The structure of the project, as I told you before, it was divided in 8 weeks, split in 4 tasks and 4 online sessions. The first one was of course, a presentation of both the schools, and students had to introduce themselves. And then we moved to a professional sector. We presented electrical risks and then the waste disposal procedures. One of the students had to, first they had to do a kind of let's say they had to work on task and fill some forms, take notes, collect data, and also take some pictures during their internship. They had to also create some nice videos on the best practices. And then on the online session, they had also to discuss the data and In the final session, it was really interesting to see how students could ask and answer themselves, and also have nice discussion among the tutors, teachers. In the end of the project, we spoke together and we decided to give a questionnaire, which was a general questionnaire given by Scuola Centrale, and to add another survey focused on English language, which now my colleague Valentina is going to present. There were some interesting evidence among all the other aspects. So I would like now to leave the floor to Valentina. And I thank you, of course, for the attention.
Thank you, Ingrid. Good morning, everybody. I'm Valentina. I'm very happy to be here with you and to share our experience, our virtual mobility experience. As Ingrid said before, I work with her in the project. I'm an English teacher, and for me, it's the first time, even for me, that I take part in this new kind of mobility. So what I want to share with you very briefly is what we felt about the impact these virtual mobility had to us as teachers and to our students. So I share with you my screen. I hope you see it. You should see the presentation now. Do you see my presentation? Are you seeing my presentation?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what about the impact, as I said, on participants? So the first impact was, of course, as Ingrid said before, curiosity. So we didn't know what the project would be like, so we were very curious about it. Curiosity together with happiness, because considering that it was a pandemic period and we did not have the opportunity to meet people, that was a great occasion for us and for our students to meet new people. So curiosity and happiness, I think, were the basis to move along the path of this virtual mobility. They were the basis of this the project, of course, but what emerged was the professional skills improvement was a very important key point to focus on when we talk about the impact on participants. They could, for real, work on the comparison of two different working standards, so the Italian and the French one in this case, and the students and us as teachers had a great occasion to see how working can be in a different country from the one we live. Another important impact that we focus on was the use of foreign language and, of course, foreign language acquisition in general. This virtual mobility, as we said before, was not a lesson where teachers have to teach something particular. It was something that grew day after day, and learn English used as a lingua franca was a sort of connecting point to link elements, to link feelings, to link knowledge. So foreign language acquisition was a very important aspect and a great impact. It was the first time that our students were asked to use English for real. So we can say that this sort of content integration, this sort of multidisciplinary vision let the project have a very strong impact on participants. So what we can say, if we focus on the student perception, we can say that it was that the project was a great opportunity to compare, of course, two different working standards. It was a great opportunity for them to be aware of the use of English use as a real language. So not only something you can link with grammar or sentence structures. And of course, it was a great occasion to focus on the importance of team working, in this case, using a language that is different from yours. At the end of our our path of our virtual mobility, we asked our students to focus on this aspect and to let us know what they felt, what they lived in for real. And what emerged from a survey we investigated at school was their strong feeling with English and socio-pragmatic competence. It means that among all the function a language can have, regulative function and interpersonal function were very close to the students. It means that they focused for real on how important it is to maintain a dialogue, to focus on important aspects related to professional fields. And so they became aware of how important it is to use English, as a referential function, to use English to talk about technical and professional aspects. I would like to show you some pictures of our project so you can see what happened in class. So the pictures I'm showing you describe the virtual situation. So the slides, you know, the software Mentimeter, DigiPad, our students and us trying to connect. And on the other side, you see what happened in class and in the workshop, because we tried to mix the two things, classroom, workshop, virtual mobility. So this can be a sort of closing of our presentation. It was a great occasion for us, for real, to go on with our connection between our two schools. And we hope maybe to see soon in the future, for real. So I thank you for now. This is the end of our presentation. Here you can see our website if you want to have some more information. And I would like now to leave the floor to Andrea, maybe. Here I am, to our general manager. Andrea, if you want, I give the floor to you so you can have your speech.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank Valentina, Ingrid, and Carlo for the good job that have. And I am very proud of the results of this project. This year, you know, is so strange. We have been able to go on with this virtual mobility, and I think we create a great Italian and French team. All the guys involved in this project give us positive feedback. And we hope finally that we will be able to realize blended or real mobility next year, 2022, I hope. With my colleague Hannah from LIA CFE, we have been working together since 3 or 4 years, correct? And every year we grew up professionally together. I'm very short with my presentation. I want to thank Anna and her staff for everything. And now I leave the floor to you, Anna. Thank you so much for all the project and all the time that you spent together. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Valentina and Ingrid, for your nice presentation. So I'm Anna Ray, in charge of European mobility at LIA CFE. We are a VAT in Paris and Paris area. We work in several industrial maintenance sectors, and one is the automotive one. So the e-automobility project has been a great opportunity for our students, for our team, teacher and not only teachers, a great opportunity from human and professional point of view in a very difficult period because of due to the COVID, and also it has been a way to of keeping and reinforcing the relationship. As Andrea said, we have with the CFP Opera Montegrappa and CFE between for more than 3 years, I think. So a great experience. My colleague teachers are not there because of the exam, but they will give you you will have their experience through the video we are going to show you, and I think it will you will have their feeling, their experience, as well as the one of the teachers and mine. So I let you with this video recorded by ANFA, because we work with ANFA, I didn't say it before, and also SCF. So thank you very much, and thank you to the CFP Montegrappa.
Thank you, Anna. I think, Lucia, you can launch the video. Thank you.
Our platoon is going to be about just simply presenting the PPE, and then we'll talk about if you have these PPE at work.
Ce projet de mobilité virtuelle européenne, donc e-automobility, comme on l'a nommé, est un projet qu'on a lancé notamment en raison de la crise sanitaire, puisqu'on avait un échange qui s'appelle la classe Europe depuis une dizaine d'années, qui était mené ici à Orly avec un partenaire européen. Et en fait, depuis 2 ans, on est parti en Italie, on a reçu des Italiens donc d'un centre de formation professionnelle, le CFP de Fonte. On s'est bien entendu, nos jeunes ont bien travaillé avec les leurs. C'était très bénéfique comme échange, et on s'est dit que c'était pas la pandémie qui allait nous arrêter. Et donc, on s'est lancé dans ce projet de mobilité virtuelle.
On était sur notre 2e session avec les Italiens sur le projet de la mobilité virtuelle. C'était une session qui tournait autour des risques en entreprise, notamment les risques électriques de changement de batterie sur une voiture particulière, voiture normale, ou sur une voiture électrique et hybride.
On se fait un peu des idées. Nous en France on bosse comme ça, l'autre là-bas c'est carrément différent. Et en y repensant, on a beau être un peu dispersé, loin, à peu importe le nombre de kilomètres, on se retrouve en fait avec notre idée un peu cassée, quoi. On est là, en fait, on est plus ou moins pareil, quoi.
C'est intéressant parce que ça nous aide à parler anglais déjà, ça peut nous apprendre de nouvelles choses. De voir comment eux ils font aussi, ça nous montre de nouvelles choses. Et voilà, on en discute et on compare. Et du coup, c'est intéressant de voir autre chose que nos entreprises à nous, par exemple.
La préparation de chaque session, elle se fait avec des tâches qu'on donne à nos apprenants. Et ces tâches, en fait, ils doivent les réaliser ou faire des recherches en entreprise. Donc ça leur permet de pouvoir analyser une situation en entreprise, en extraire des données pour pouvoir préparer la session. Donc on inscrit vraiment les entreprises et les maîtres d'apprentissage dans l'expérience pour que les jeunes aient le maximum de billes pour pouvoir échanger avec nos Italiens. Donc on a un travail de préparation à faire. On leur demande 1 semaine à l'avance de faire des petites recherches avec des questions ciblées sur le thème de la session. Comme ça, ils préparent déjà une petite présentation orale qui leur permet le jour J, donc le jour de la session, d'avoir un support sur lequel s'appuyer pour pouvoir communiquer sur les thèmes qu'on leur a demandés.
Ce projet, c'est pas un one-shot, voilà, c'est pas un investissement juste parce qu'il y a la crise, etc. Ce projet, en fait, on pourra s'en servir, le reproduire lorsque, par exemple, notre échange traditionnel, enfin la classe Europe pourra reprendre, par exemple, et pourra nous servir de module préparatoire à un échange donc physique. Ben, c'est quand même un travail déjà d'ouverture à l'autre. Donc on va apprendre déjà à s'exprimer. Alors nous, ici, les jeunes travaillent en anglais. Donc déjà, ils ont un effort à faire par rapport à l'anglais, mais c'est aussi susciter leur intérêt pour cette langue qui pourra leur être utile plus tard, les rendre plus curieux en fait, parce que c'est une façon de se dire, eux ils font différemment, se questionner en fait sur leur pratique ou même sur leur être de jeunes français, apprentis français par rapport à l'italien.
So thank you very much to Fondazione Opera Montegrappa and CF Orly. Thank you, Anna, for the presentation of this great video that explain how a project like this can work and can maybe inspire other vet organizations to do the same and possible further collaboration. So thank you, Anna, and thank you to the French team that worked with us in this implementation and in this idea. So now we move to another kind of experience. I have seen that you are exchanging also question and answers among you. That's great. So if you have questions for the teacher can answer from themselves, and it's wonderful, I would say. We move now to the Basque Country. Now we have to fly in a little bit with our imagination. I hope that Maria Pando in the Basque Country is ready, because now, as I said before, this had to be a transnational meeting in Bilbao, in the Basque Country. But as we cannot travel, we have asked to Maria Pando from the Jesuitac Politecnicoa to present us a vet college in the Basque Country. So Maria is a coordinator, teacher in the school. I would ask to you, Maria, to introduce first yourself and then to make us doing a live virtual tour in your vet school to present the most important features of the school, how you work, and the most important thing about your vet college. So thank you, Maria, for this effort and collaboration.
Sorry, Francesca, sorry, Maria, just a suggestion for the participants. If you click on the video of Maria,
yes,
on the picture of Maria, and you fix the image of Maria on your screen, you can see better the virtual tour. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Bilbao. Welcome to Jesuitac. My name is Maria Pando, and I'm an English teacher here. I've been teaching for 18 years now, and I've also been coordinating students' training periods in companies for a decade. But that's coming to an end now because I'm taking charge of the international department. So let me show you around. We've got, let's get inside. We've got 2,000 students here at the school, and 200 of them are vet students. I want to show you the playground first, so that you get an idea on how the school is organized. And luckily, this is patio time now. They are playing now. So anyway, we've got the school takes a whole block in the heart of the city, and we are surrounded by train, bus, and underground stations. So we get the students from many different areas. And well, that's the building for primary education. We've got some solar panels installed on its roof. Then we've got secondary education here. It's raining, so I don't want to. That's for secondary education. Then we've got what we call the bridge, which includes a conference room, a computers room, some special classrooms, and some teachers' offices. And then we've got that for baccalaureate, and that's the administration building as well. It's the original building, and it's got the school's main entrance, just in front of the subway station. Next course will celebrate our 100th anniversary, so there will be celebrations. Let's get back inside. I want to show you one of the classrooms. Most of them are very similar. So now we've got electronic doors that we open with just this one key. Can you see it? Which is quite convenient because I used to feel like Nicole Kidman in The Others, always carrying a bunch of old keys around. So now it's just this. And students have their electronic identity card. So this is one of the classrooms. As I said, most of them are very similar. We've got a traditional board, and then we've got a white screen so that we can display stuff. Of course, everything is full of sanitary stuff and arrows on the corridors and warnings all over. I bet you all have these kind of things. And behind that door, we've got vet offices. Then we've got a teacher's room as well, and a study room for students. And if we peer inside, you can read our motto, which says, it doesn't matter who you are, but who you can become. So this is the ground floor. Let's go up and take a look at the laboratories. The first two floors are for electronics. We've got in an intermediate level that cycle, which is electric and automated installations, and a higher level one, which is electronic maintenance. Okay, let's take a look. So here we've got milling machines, we've got soldering and desoldering tools. Both first and second floors are divided in different areas for different purposes. Here, for example, we've got stations for analogical electronics and electrotechnology. Then back there are computers. And behind that door, we've got a 3D printer with which we could make parts for a neighbor association who wanted to do some repairs, and we sold them some parts. Okay, we made with the 3D printer. Then this is completely functional garage door. A very special student made a couple of years ago, and we keep it because it's so nice, completely functional. And then, well, as you can see, we've got solar panels and stuff all around. Let's move on to the second floor. Electronics. I mean, electronic students are the only ones who come in the mornings. They come from 8 in the morning to 2:15. And here we are on the second floor. Let's hope kids are not coming out, because vet classes have finished, but not kids classes. So this is for robotics. And here we've got a robot working, even though the classes have finished for vet. A teacher has been kind enough to start it up, and here it is. So this is for robotics. PLCs, well, programming. You can program this robot to do many things. And it's quite special because there are only 2 of them in the whole country. So here we've got projects that students have made. We've got drones, cars, 3D stuff, and computers all over for programming. And then we've got these panels, which are for creating circuits. The big one is for the final project and can hold a whole installation for a home, a whole electrical installation for a home. But now it's empty because they're all gone. Only a few students need to pass the last few subjects they failed. Okay, so that's electronics. Well, there are more computers back here and more 3D printers. And now let's go for the 3rd and 4th floors, which are for chemistry. We've got 2 higher level cycles in chemistry. One of them is industrial chemistry, and the other one is analysis and quality control laboratory. So those and healthcare cycles come in the afternoons. They start classes at 3 o'clock and they finish at 9 in the evening. So here we've got the first of the chemistry laboratories. And we try to reproduce, let's start the other way. We try to recreate conditions at a factory for industrial chemistry. So we've got mini versions of what you can find in a factory. We teach them fluids transport, for example, and this is to measure volume for fluids and gas. It's a small replica. This is a centrifugal pump, also found in factories everywhere. Then we've got all the usual stuff for a laboratory. There at the back, we've got extraction hoods, a storage room, and a weighing room, and all the gadgets. There at the back there is an industrial centrifugal fan, and again, small sized, so that the students can practice and can get a real taste of what it is going to be when they start working. Then on the 4th floor, we've got instrumental chemistry. And it's nice because as we've been in business, let's say, for 100 years, we've got many connections with different companies in the area. And sometimes when they want to update their equipment, they call us and we pick it up. Okay, so here we've got for instrumental chemistry, we've got chromatograms, spectrophotometers, spectrometers. This is a pilot plant, distilling pilot plant. And again, small size, but the real thing. More and more equipment for students to use. This is to distill water. And then we've got some more computers and some equipment to perform chemical analysis and physical analysis and physicochemical analysis. And then another waiting room, another storage room, and some more extraction hoods. And this is the third, okay, and these are chemical reactors which drive students crazy. That's one of the toughest subjects they have to pass. And then on the 5th floor, we've got our healthcare laboratory, but it is currently under reconstruction because we've been granted a new cycle Now we've got biological and clinical laboratory, but we've been granted pathological anatomy and cytodiagnosis. So we are reconstructing the whole 5th floor, and we are making 4 brand new classrooms and the coolest, most high-tech lab ever. So you'll better stop me now because I'm getting carried away. That's more or less it. We are located, I think I didn't say, we are located inside the school. We share the classrooms with secondary school, because as our labs are here, we share facilities with them. But we are like a small school inside a bigger one. Okay, vet people, I mean. And that's it, more or less.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you very much. Thank you for this great effort, because we know that it wasn't easy at all to organize this, but you were very, very fine in doing this. And we also we're thinking about that this is a great activity to do also with the learners in the virtual mobility, to organize live virtual tours of their school, for example. So you gave an idea for a further implementation of the virtual mobility. I think that maybe some of the participants could have some questions for you. So please put in the chat box. If Maria has time, you can answer from yourself, or we can just connect the questions in an offline and in a further time, and we will answer to all the questions. And also we will share the contact. So if someone wants to keep in contact with you, we can connect people among them. Okay?
Great.
So great, Maria. Thank you very much. And
thank you for having me.
Thank you because you gave us the possibility to feel a little bit nearer, if we even if we are distant and we are just connected. I now give the floor to Tamara Rodriguez, International Coordinator of HETL, a vet association in the Basque Country. HETL has a lot of experience in the virtual mobility as well. And I would ask to Tamara to present some of the most recent activities that some of your schools realized in recent time. Tamara, do you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
Okay, so Tamara, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Francesca, and thank you very much, Maria, for taking the challenge of doing the virtual tour. It was my fault that I put her in these in these circumstances, but it was great, and I think that, well, I see in the chat that people really appreciated to have the possibility to visit your school, even if virtually. Okay, so, well, just a few words about HETL before, so you can understand also the projects I'm going to present. We are an association of 27 vocational colleges already. We are growing each year. Located in the Basque Country, Maria's College is one of our associated schools, and we have very different colleges in our network in terms of size, but also in terms of the training provision. However, most of our schools provide training in related to industry or to technical vet programs. So, well, with this introduction, I'm going to share with you my screen to show you one of the first blended mobility that we carried out in our network. Let me know if you can see my screen. I'm going to do it right now. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what you're seeing here is okay. What you're seeing here, I'm going to share the link to this Padlet with you all, so you will have access, because I've included some links in the different points of the timeline. But what you're seeing here is the a brief summary of a project of blended mobility that we have been implementing since 2016 with a vocational college from the Netherlands, Roc da Vinci. And we have been doing it in the field of mechanical manufacturing design in higher education, in level 4 or 5 EQF. So you see here the sequence that we follow every academic year. We start in November with an online meeting, and well, now it's only online communication because the basis of the project have been set already. But there is a meeting between the Dutch and the Basque teachers. The school from the Netherlands is just one, but from ETEL we involve several schools because we are much smaller than the Dutch one. And we normally involve 4 to 5 vocational schools from our association who provide training in mechanical manufacturing design. And these teachers, it's a group of in total 6 teachers. They meet online and they define and design an activity to be carried out by the students. We call it a challenge, and we it is a challenge in the field of mechanical manufacturing design. So it's a technical challenge, and they have to design something. Normally, we don't tell them what they need to design. We tell them that they have to design something to produce this. For example, last year was a machine to transform plastic into filament to be used by 3D printers. But we didn't tell them which kind of machine or anything. And one important element of the challenges is that it always has to be something related with environmental sustainability as well. But we don't tell them how. They have to figure it out. So we try to encourage them to be creative with their solutions. So as I was saying, in November the teachers meet, and then they decide which is the challenge that the students will need to solve, and then they have from November to December to work on the document describing what is the objective of the challenge, which are the learning outcomes associated to it, some resources that students can use, also which are the evaluation criteria, and some steps, recommended steps, let's say, for the students to go on with the solution. Then in January we have the first physical mobility of the project. Normally it's the Dutch students who come to the Basque Country in January, and they are here for 2 weeks. And during these 2 weeks, we create a program which combines visits to companies and cultural visits, and of course work with their peers. So before the students come, we have already created teams of students, and these teams are mixed. So normally it's 4 or 5 students in each team, and it involves students from the Basque Country with students from the Netherlands. And during the first physical mobility in the Basque Country, we activate the teams, so to say. So we work in some team building activities with them in order to help them to break the ice and to create already a good working atmosphere among the students. Then in that session, at the end of that session, the challenge is presented by the teachers. And they explain what they expect from the students, and then along these 2 weeks they have several moments to organize their work, to decide the roles they want to take on, and to organize the work, to decide on the technical or technological platforms that are going to use to work online later on, and they start working in the challenge and especially solving the possible questions that they may have with the teachers that are in the Basque Country. So after these 2 weeks, the students from the Netherlands go back to their country, and they keep working online with the students from the Basque Country. They are working together until the end of February online, and at the end of February they have to submit the solution of the challenge to the team of teachers. And the teachers assess already the documents presented, and this is already part of the evaluation, but it's not the whole part, because in March the Basque students go to the Netherlands in the second physical mobility of the project. They go to the Netherlands for 1 week normally, and they have, in the first day they have some time to, the first 2 days they have some time to work with their peers from the Netherlands, and they prepare a presentation on the solution of the challenge. Then they arrange who is going to say what, who is going to answer questions, although teachers can ask any of the students, so they have to be ready to answer. And then the third day, we make an event with companies, with other students from the school and other teachers from the Dutch school, and the different teams present the results of the challenge. And there is a jury composed by teachers and companies, and they select the best solution, which is not always the best technical one, but sometimes it's also it also depends on how feasible the solution is, how cost efficient, how creative, and also how well defended, let's say, it has been done. And then we have a ranking of the projects presented, and then the final evaluation of students. It's important to say also that students evaluate themselves as well, and they also evaluate their peers. So it's interesting to see how the evaluation given by the teacher sometimes is quite different to the evaluation given by the students themselves and also to their peers. I'm going to stop sharing right now. Okay, so this is in very briefly what the project is about and how it works. So you see that it is a combination of virtual and physical mobility. And I've created a Kahoot that I would like to share with you, because I think it can be funny also to check your ideas on which are, for example, the possible challenges that we faced during this work together, or the benefits for the students and so on. So I'm going to share this Kahoot with you. Going to share my screen again. And then you will need to go to Kahoot and write the number that is going to appear in the screen. You just need to go to kahoot.it, and then this is the pin. Okay, I see Lydia is already here. Maya. People are coming. I hope it will work with so many people. We are 78. Okay, I'm going to start. Otherwise, I will take too much time from the rest of the participants, if you agree. Okay, so this is the first question. What do you think our biggest challenges were to start this project? And you have there 3 options: technology and digital competences, organization, combination of calendars and matching curricula, and then looking for international partners. Okay, so most of the people I see that were quite, well, suspected well, I would say. It's true that when we started, well, the organization was the most difficult part also because we hadn't done anything like this before. So just to go to a teacher and tell them that now, apart from their daily duties, now they have to work with a school from another country, and then have to create a new activity in English, and then deal with the follow-up of students, also students who are not part of their own school. Well, it was at the beginning difficult to sell, I have to say. Because it was well, it was a challenge for the teachers, and they were also scared that it would take them a lot of time. It's true that the first time we did it took, of course, longer, and it was more demanding in terms of time for the teachers, because it was the first time for everybody. It was also difficult for myself because I was the coordinator of the whole activity, and it was new for me as well. So of course it was more demanding. But after the first experience and after the good results of the first experience, it was much more easier to go on with this kind of activity, this kind of blended mobility, because they already know what to expect. The design of the activity, we realized it was not so important. So actually the activity itself doesn't really matter if it's a complex activity or a simple one. I would say that starting simpler than we did, it could be much better. That was a lesson learned. So you don't have to start with something very big or something very complex, because the most important part of this kind of experience is that that you are able to work with people from another college, and this is beneficial for the teachers, and it's beneficial for the students as well. And we will see what the teachers and the students said about this kind of experience. Well, let's ignore the the ranking because it's not really important. So this is the next question. What do you think was the most important factor to select students? Enthusiasm and motivation, language and grades, and academic performance. I have to say that well, different to the experience shared by the Italian and French schools, we did not involve, and we are not involved in the whole class in this blended mobility. We are involving only a selection of students, and that is why we had criteria. And again, most people were right that enthusiasm and motivation were the main factors that we were looking for. Of course, language, it's important because they had to be able to work in English, but it was not so important to select them. I remember that some of the students were not so good in English, but they had always the support of their peers and the support of their teachers, so it was not that important. Maybe those students had a smaller role in presentation or in developing the documentation, but they could be have a more important role in the technical design, for example. So that was okay. And then the grades and the academic performance, we didn't even consider it that much. It was more about the enthusiasm they were showing and the motivation. We asked them why they wanted to to participate in this kind of experience, and of course also the assessment of the teacher regarding the maturity and their ability to work in teams. Okay, so this is the third question. What do you think was the most valuable impact for teachers? So we have language learning, development of digital and international skills, and change of mind and openness to international cooperation. So this is what the teachers thought they had developed most themselves. Okay, so here was a bit more, there was a higher division. Well, most of the teachers, this is interesting because, well, you will see then the answer of the students, but for the teachers, the most important part was the development of digital and international skills for them. The teachers that were involved in the project, from our side at least, had no previous experience in international activities. It was the first time for them. And for some of them now, it seems, because of the pandemic and all that we have gone through, it seems really incredible. But for some of them, it was the first time using Skype, for example, when we started in 2016. So I remember a teacher didn't have an account in Skype, so he had to create one, and he had to learn how to use these technological tools. Now it seems well, incredible because we are so used to it already after 1 year of virtual work. But at the beginning, it was quite new. And even the use of Google Drive to share documents, or having online meetings was already like, wow, something very innovative back then for some of the teachers. And then international skills, because they realized that working with teachers from other countries is not the same that working with teachers from your own school or even from your own country. It takes some special skills as well, of course, to work with teachers from different countries, because they have a different system, a different approach to education, a different concept of how a student has to perform or has to be evaluated. So it was, well, a learning experience for them. Last question is, what do you think was the most valuable impact for students? This is what the students considered the teachers considered the most valuable impact for their students. And this is what they have answered. Let's see if the answer is the same for as the one they did for themselves, the one they gave for themselves. And we see that this time, yes, the most valuable impact for students is the change of mind and openness to international cooperation. Going to stop sharing because I want to see faces here. So yeah, for the teachers, they said, yeah, what I gained more from this kind of projects is that I developed my digital skills and my international skills. Instead, for their students, they said, what I noticed among my students is that they are now more open-minded and they have a different approach to internationalization. And this was noticeable because some of the students were in the first year of the VET program, and after the participation on this blended mobility, they decided to apply for an Erasmus grant in the second year to go abroad. And some of the students said that this was like a softer way to be in touch with international activities, because they don't have to be, normally we send students for at least 8 weeks abroad. So for some of them, it's quite scary because they feel that they are going to be alone in a different country, having to speak in a foreign language, and it's quite scary. But with this kind of experience, they already have a taste of how could it be, and they realize that it's not so terrible as they thought. So speaking a foreign language it's okay if you are not perfect. It's okay if you make mistakes. It doesn't matter. People don't take it. I mean, they really don't care. Your peers really don't care. Even when the level of English of our students is normally quite worse than the level of the Dutch students. And at the beginning, they are like, oh, these guys know how to speak, and then our language is quite shitty. but at the end, they feel confident because they see that it doesn't matter. They are able to communicate, and that is what matters. And then they also, I really like the one sentence, one impact you included, Valentina, in your presentation about happiness. You said that one of the results was happiness. I've never seen that in as a result in an international project, but I think we should consider it a lot, and we should include it in all our final reports, because it's very important, and it doesn't have to be overlooked, because actually this kind of projects make people happy, make the teachers happy. They come back with with energy on top, and very motivated to do new things, not only international things, but also things that they have never done before, and the students as well. The students also come back with new ideas, and now I want to do this, and now I know I'm able to do different things and challenges, and that is very important. It gives a lot of self-esteem to the participants, and that is very important for both students and teachers. Okay, so that was my presentation of this project. I think I have 5 minutes for the next one.
We are a little bit in delay.
Okay.
We have a delay of 10 minutes, but you want to conclude, or you want to say something more?
Now there is another experience that I could share with you from one of our school. But if we are so ahead of time, I can share it online. I don't want to, because I think that the workshops where people can participate are more important.
Okay. Thank you, Tamara. We can share maybe later, or in the breakout if you desire, if you prefer. So thank you very much, because Tamara anticipated some of the key concept of the virtual mobility, and it's very nice. We are going to move to the breakout session. So now the participants of the workshop will be split in 3 different rooms. We will have a room 1 facilitated by Lidia Ruffa and Sovani Costas. We will have a room 2 animated by Consuelo Bongiorno and Sandra Orvatic, and a room 3 animated by Irene Lucisano and Natalie Richardson. I thank first the facilitator of the rooms. You will have the possibility to speak and discuss about some of the most characterizing items of this experience. So we are now going to have the breakout. The breakout will last 45 minutes, and then you will have 10 minutes relax, 10 minutes break. Then we will come back again to the plenary session, to the main room. So I think that breakout will start at 11. This means that at 55 we will back to the plenary session. Is that okay, Lucia?
Okay, welcome back. I hope that the workshop were interesting for all of you, and you have had the possibility to share your opinions and to get inspiration for your work. Okay. So let's wait a couple of minutes. Okay, so I think that the coordinators of the workshop can tell us something more about the workshop, how they going on. And I would like to ask to Sovani to, I don't know if she's ready. Sovani, are you here? Sovani? Sovani, can you hear me?
Lydia, Sovani is connected, but maybe she doesn't hear you. Okay, maybe if you want to, you can give the word to another group, and then you will manage then your group afterwards.
Yes, we can go ahead with the second workshop. I think that Irene and Consuelo and Sandra, sorry, for the second workshop. So I don't know who is going to take the floor. Maybe Sandra?
It's Consuelo. Actually, she was in charge of the item number 3, so I'll leave the floor to her and then I'll continue.
Okay. So Consuelo, the floor is yours.
Is she here?
Consuelo, are you here? No.
She's having a problem as well, maybe.
Okay, so I'm sharing our Jamboard. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so our task was to discuss in detail 2 items. So what is the objective of the virtual mobility integrated with the geographical one? So maybe if Consuelo is present. Okay, so shall I continue?
Yes, Sandra, maybe it's better if you...
Okay, so for this item, we discussed a couple of ideas. So one of our colleagues mentioned that, well, she teaches adult learners, and virtual mobility is a great option for particularly adult learners who are not able to leave off their families or work for 2 or 3 weeks. And also we feel this is a very good opportunity to sort of, one of the colleagues posted is the future, which of course we agree, otherwise we wouldn't be here. And also this is a way to exchange cultural and professional skills, and to sort of also prepare the students for the possible geographical mobility, which one day will happen for sure. I mean, the situation will not last forever. And also getting to know each other, the participants, and encourage the students to take part in geographical mobility, even though they might be afraid. And these were our thoughts. Okay, so I'll just move on to the next topic that we discussed, which was how can a virtual mobility be inclusive, which we feel is a very important part of any kind of mobility. But with the virtual mobility, for example, one of the colleagues pointed out sharing hidden skills, because she has a student that she wasn't aware of the fact that he was bilingual, because he wasn't confident enough to participate in the activities because he was bullied a lot. And we also feel virtual mobility can definitely help shy students to get involved, to feel motivated, to feel encouraged. During these projects, the students can take the lead and sort of make the projects their own with their participation. And we feel like virtual mobilities are a great way of breaking down barriers. So as one of the colleagues said, sort of taking the first step to, you know, experience something new, broaden the horizons, and so on. Also develop creativity, which is very important as a part of class collaboration, so they can share their ideas and maybe discuss any issues respectively. So this is also a skill for life. And also we feel in this way the students are encouraged to use the language without at least, you know, lessening their fear of using the language. So these were our thoughts.
Sandra, thank you very much. I think Sandra came back.
Okay.
I think that she can give also a contribution about the workshop. I don't know if she hears us.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Okay. Sorry for my delay.
Okay, we can hear you. If you want to give your contribution about the workshop, just a few minutes, and then we will pass to the other workshops.
Okay. Do I need to share the screen, right?
If you want, otherwise you can just tell about it.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's very interesting because we share different ideas, and I think Sandra focused on item 1 and 2, right?
Yes.
Okay, am I supposed to move to 3 and 4?
Yes.
Okay. So, which technologies can help the implementation of virtual mobility? Well, all technological tools. So, for example, Kahoot, Mentimeter, Teams, YouTube video, video editor. So everything that could help students to get more involved in this kind of experience. And concerning the importance of the teachers, so the item number 4, why are we so important to facilitate virtual mobility? But first of all, in order to avoid the silence between students, because at the beginning they should be a little bit shy, and so it's important our presence to support them, to encourage them. And it is also important as time management, because students need someone who
who told them how to manage their time also during the online sessions. This is what we got from.
Thank you so much, Consuelo.
Thank you.
Now give the floor rapidly to Sovani. She coordinated with me the workshop number 1. So Sovani, if you would like to tell something about it, few minutes.
Yes, sorry for being late. So just about the technology, we talked about something that was really interesting during the workshop. It was about the smartphone and the importance of the smartphone as a device, because we said that the smartphone belong to them, so they don't feel that we impose something on them like a laptop or something like that, and they feel more confident. They gain confidence and that take away the shyness that they could have. So they can speak more easily with the smartphone. It's a great way to be also inclusive in the virtual project, to use the smartphone, because every student now has a smartphone.
Thank you very much, Sovani. And now I move to the third workshop. I think that Irene will tell us something about it. I don't know if I'm wrong.
Yes, I'm gonna share my screen so you can see the Jamboard.
Irene, a few minutes. Sorry.
Well, yeah. It's just very, very briefly.
Thank you.
So yeah, sure. As you can see, the question was, the answers were many and the participants were active. So the question was, which activities can be most motivating for the students? And of course, the first idea was to share their technical skills. But of course, we thought about peers, new friendships, international friends, and also someone thought about love and emotional and emotions, and again soft skills, and last but not least, we didn't mention it, but I think it's important. We can motivate our students with the possibility of a geographical mobility. Then the second question was, what is the ideal duration of a virtual mobility? And we agreed on the fact that it depends on the outcomes we want to reach, and also on the field of the vet school, but mainly we said 6 to 8 weeks is fine, and the duration of a session should be not less than an hour, because otherwise it will be not enough. So that's very briefly what we said.
Great, Irene. I thank you very much. I thank you all the coordinators of the workshop, because you did a very great job. And I thank all the participants, because your contribution were very, very precious and inspiring for all of us. And now I give the floor back to Francesca, and she will continue with the third and final part of the meeting.
Yes, thank you very much, Lydia, and thank you to all facilitators for the great job and for the effort for the realization of this workshop. So thank you, because you gave us very good items and good input to work further, actually. Now is the time to give the floor to some of our students. I give the floor to Consuelo Bongiorno, English and German teacher in the Vocational Training Center Pavoni in Montagnana. She has involved some of the students that did an experience of virtual mobility. Consuelo, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Francesca, and thank you, everyone. As Francesca said, we would like to involve the students and listen from their point of view. So I'm asking Aurora, Florentina, and Omar to turn on the camera if you are hear me? And I would like to ask them some questions. Guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, maybe. Okay, so turn the phone, please. We don't see you. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So they are my students. Thank you for accepting this invitation, also because it's their last day of school, last hour, and they are here with us. So, Omar, I would like to start with you.
Yes.
I would like to ask if you, did you enjoy this kind of mobility project? What did you enjoy the most?
Yes, I really enjoyed the experience because I learned a lot of things like more English, their language, their tradition and cultures, and so this is a lot of things. And yes, for me, it's not a problem to do this experience again. It was a
So
really
you would repeat it?
yeah, there
You
is no
would
problem for
repeat
me.
it, the experience. Okay, so thank you. And what about you, Florentina? Can you explain us how did you organize your works, the tasks I give you each Monday? How
Yes.
do you organize?
Yes, so now I'm gonna tell you how I organized my hours. So I organized myself in this way that every Monday morning my teacher gives me the particular task, and then I started to create my to-do list for all the week. Example, one week I had to create a video where I showed my city and the school. So I created a video where I showed the city and the school, and so Tuesday morning I created the video of the city and of the school. Then Wednesday I started to edit the video using the app eShoot. Then I did it and the voice. So by Thursday I was ready, and I worked alone and I prepared just one task in group. That's all.
Okay, so you work alone most of the time and only 1 week. Okay.
Yes.
And only 1 week in group, right? Okay. Did you enjoy, Florentina, this experience?
Yes, I enjoyed it a lot. It was wonderful.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And what about you, Aurora?
Yes.
Thinking about the tasks I gave you every week, did you like them, or did you face them easily, or would you like to have had different tasks?
Now, I like them, and I think they were interesting to get to know the cultures, and they were easy subjects. And the task I liked the most was the one which we talked about the Italian culture, for example, music and food.
Music and Italian food. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, guys. I don't know if you have any questions for them. Tell me, Aurora.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Double thank, actually, because it's the last school day, Consuelo. I think that it's a great result for you, for your vocational center. The fact that students would like to repeat even the experience. Maybe for the next year, we can organize something again for them. So thank you very much, guys. It was a very fine testimony to have you here. It's, I think, a success for all of us. Thank you. So I try to go to the conclusion of this morning. I think that this morning it was very tight in terms of program, in terms of content. So you did a lot of activities. So I think that now we have to go to the conclusion and to have the end of this morning. I would like to share some of the most significant results of these experience that we did. Lydia told you and showed you the pathway we have implemented this last year. So now I try to share some of the results we have started to collect. Actually, we have not yet finished it because we are continue to do the. Yes, I don't know if you can see my screen now.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay. So you see it. You can see it? Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You see if I change my screen, if I change the slide?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. So we are still continuing to collect the results because some of the virtual exchange have not finished yet. Some have finished just this last week. So we have still to continue to do our evaluations and follow-up activities. These are some figures of the activities that we did, as you can see. But I skipped this because Lydia showed in a previous presentation some of these data. Actually, for the activities that we have done until now, we have questioned 102 learners with a self-assessment questionnaire. The self-assessment questionnaire is ready and is available for both Italian and foreign learners involved in this kind of activities, and to 19 teachers. We have involved in total, so for both Italian and foreign side, altogether we have 24 teachers already involved. So 19 of these teachers have been already involved in the follow-up questionnaire after every online session and the follow-up interviews that we have done after, so in the end of every virtual project. So here you have some of the most important results about the learners' self-assessment. You can see a general satisfaction, a positive feedback from the learners. So we have here for the general satisfaction a 90%, the usefulness of the virtual exchange to improve the English competence at 82%. And then we have here also another very high percentage for the appreciation of the learners towards the facilitation of the teacher. So facilitation of the teacher is one of the key elements mostly appreciated by the learners, as well as for the online session activities. I would like to underline that the learners gave a very interesting result about the most appreciated activities that they did during the online sessions, because I did the same question to the teachers. So teachers told me that the most appreciated activity are the quiz, the Kahoot, the Mentimeter. So all the activities that you can organize, for example, with digital tools, inclusive digital tools that you can use for very, very collective kind of activities. Actually, what learners say is that they love mostly to be interactive. So to do dialogue, to do discussion, to debate, even to debate about personal things. So to speak about their own life, to speak about their free time, to present their school, to present their activities, for example, in a company, or something about connected with the professional field, but speaking is actually the most appreciated activity of learners. And what they would like to improve is the duration of the online session, because they told us that sometimes they didn't have so much time to speak. So they would do a longer session of 1 hour and a half, or even 2 hours. And finally, having the possibility to do a geographical mobility. So not only the virtual part, but integrate this kind of experience with a geographical and physical mobility. But this is, of course, something that we can imagine, because for us, it's the same. So further results that we are having from this follow-up activity with learners is the benefit that they are having from this kind of experiences. It's very interesting that they say understanding a different culture is some of the benefit. In some cases, learners say, we started from stereotypes. So we started from an established idea we had towards a country, towards people from another country. Then these ideas changed during the progress, so during the pathway. Another interesting fact is that they feel less shy. We have here this 37%, so more than 1/3 of the answers. This is an important thing, if you connect this with the use of a foreign language, because we know sometimes it's the same also for the adult people. We don't speak English when we are a little bit shy, when we don't feel to open us to our people, to other people. But in this case, the exchange was impactful, as well as for the use of technologies and communication tools. Now we see instead the successful pedagogical elements from the perspective of the teachers. So we interviewed, as I said before, 19 teachers already involved and who already finished their experience. So they underlined the inclusive perspective is some of the most sensitive topic in this kind of experience, and how you can balance inclusiveness with the motivation of the learners itself. So the online meeting is a space for the learner. So we underline again that, and we stress again that this is not a lesson. This is a space for learners, and teachers as facilitator stay a little bit behind the process. So the key is to support them being real protagonists, using a vehicular language. This is the challenge, actually. The assignment of the weekly task is another important pedagogical key in this kind of experiences, because in this way learners have the possibility to feel prepared before undertaking a session. The duration of the whole exchange, but you have spoken this also in the breakout room, the duration of the process, so of the whole exchange, and then of the online session, and also the time dedicated to the offline activities is very, very important. We have seen that professional exchange were particularly successful, because in this case, learners had the possibility to speak about their job, to speak about the experiences in a company, for example, and to manage the field, because is the technical one is what they know. So it's what they can share without any problem. And then the improvement, of course, of the soft skill and of the cultural awareness. This is another important key concept and key result in this kind of experiences. The short-term impact on learners, always from the perspective of the teachers, so beyond the linguistic, the digital, and the technical competencies. What teachers confer is that learners in this experience have the possibility to acquire a more collaborative competencies. So the reciprocal help, the capacity to be engaged with different ideas, to be engaged with a different idea, and the tendency to establish also relationships, friendships. You can consider, and you must consider, that this last year was a very critical one for many guys, for many students, and having the possibility to know other people from other country and share, of course, feelings and also the critical situation that we all have lived during this last year, it was very, very important for them. And another important competence is the planning one, the competence that permits to the students the realization of the task in a precise time slot, for example, and using the personal autonomy. So as you can see, collaborative competences and planning competences are soft skills that have a significant role in this kind of experience. From the point of view of the recognition, I would like to share that in our case, in some of our exchanges, so this work in exchanges was an integral part of the formal learning. So some of the exchange were integrated in the formal VET pathway. And at the end of the pathway, teachers also used a special assessment for the competencies that students acquire from this kind of experience. We have also obtained from our national agency in Italy the possibility to have a recognition of the virtual exchange in the technical field. So for all the professional virtual exchange, the possibility to have a recognition of this exchange as a mobility Erasmus at 100% age. This was a very successful goal for us, because it's like a virtual mobility in this case have a value also within our mobility projects. So these were the most important results in this kind of experiences, and I hope that these will be useful for every one of us and to go further with this kind of activities.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Lydia.
We are perfectly in time, I think, with the provision. So I thank you, I thank you all the project partners of Vimoin VET, and I thank all the participants for being here today with us, sharing your experiences and your contribution and your opinions with us. It was very, very precious. And now I remind you that we will share with you all the materials of the meeting by mail, but also you can find it on our website. And as soon as we finish, you will receive a link by mail with a survey, just to say if you like the meeting or not. And I think that Lucia shared also the link to the questionnaire in the chat box. So if you like to, if you want, you can do it right now. And I think that I said everything, and I thank you again, and see you next times in next meeting, and maybe physically.
Hopefully. Yes. So thank you to everybody for participating to this session. Thank you very much. See you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye, Louise.
Bye, Francesca, Andrea, colleagues. Bye-bye.
Ciao, Anna. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Bye.
Ciao Anna, bye bye.
Ciao, Andrea. Grazie mille.
Bye,
Grazie.
Francesca. Thank you for now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dorte. Thank you.